Excellent. They can stop sharing their faces if they choose.
And as of now, we are recording, and our TESOL, New York State TESOL President Laura Bescher is here also. Welcome to you, and welcome to everyone who's here.
Excellent.
My name is Nick Kleiber, and I'm the co-chair of this region, and our presenter today is Nicole Miller.
And I believe I'm also a co-chair, and so
yes,
is Shauna Sweet as well. And she's here also. And we have Jenna Kohlrich, and she might be joining later or not. It's okay. We're all kind of wrapping up the school year here, so it's going to be a little haphazard sometimes. It's all right. I'll take it. Okay. So right now, what I would like for everyone to do, if you could, make sure that you're on mute. By default, you will be, but just double check that throughout the session, just to make sure that you are still on mute. Sometimes, like, there's little buttons that get clicked or things like that. Just make sure. Another thing that I want to mention is that the Buffalo Rochester region is going to be hosting a happy hour on June 11th from at 4 p.m. we start, and it's really, really fun. And I hope that you guys all will join. And the reason why I would like that is because you can put your name and your district and your grade level and your email in the chat, and then ask any questions there too. Instead of unmuting yourself, it's just a little bit easier for me as I'm presenting. My co-hosts can be able to, triage some of that kind of information. And then at the end of the session today, there'll be additional time for question and answers, and hopefully I can answer them all for you. If not, I can probably point you in a direction of someone who can. If you have not joined Nice TESOL yet, I suggest that you do so. It's an excellent organization. It has provided me professional development and tons of resources, along with camaraderie and some really just great friendships that I've built over the years, even starting from back in my student teaching, entrance year of 2010. So I've been a member since then, and it's fantastic. You can actually only join for $20 right now, and that is a huge steal. I can tell you that moving forward, we are probably going to look at some more remote learning than what we are used to. So it's not a bad idea to get in on the organizations that you can now, and keep up with all of the webinars and the current learning that's taking place in the TESOL realm of education. You can do that by joining nicetesol.org, and then click up at the top right-hand corner. There's a button that says join, and I know that one of my co-hosts will go ahead and put that link in the chat for you as well. Okay, so, well, welcome. I'm very excited that you're all here with me today. My name is Nicole Miller. I am an ENL teacher and ELA co-teacher this year for Buffalo Public Schools. Down at the bottom there, you will see the email that's best to reach me, buffroch@nicetesol.org. And I would really appreciate if you have any questions to go ahead and pop those right in the chat for me or email me along the way. Okay, so I have a quote here on the screen, and I'd like you to take a second and just read it. I'll read it out loud to you, and then I want you to respond in the chat. So the question I want you to respond to is, what does this quote actually mean to you as an educator and as a professional? So it says, interactive video accelerates learning by improving retention. We give instructors data to do more. Now, this is directly from the Playposit website, and I'm going to give you approximately 30 seconds here to just respond in the chat. What does that mean to you? We're going to review that a little bit later on. So again, the directions were, what does this quote mean to you as an educator and a professional in the field of TESOL? Okay, we've got a couple of responses there. Excellent. We're going to come back to that. Oh, I love that. Danette had a really excellent response, and I have to share it out because it's great. Because it gives us tools to help improve the potency of our instruction, allowing students to retain more information and thus coming back to improve their fluency. Fantastic. I love that. Great job. As if you needed me to tell you that, but okay. So what is Playposit? Why are we even here discussing this? So Playposit is a tool. It's used to share interactive video lessons. And I'm going to tell you more about what that looks like and how you can use this in your classroom, both remotely and when you're in your physical classroom. So right now, we are only scratching the surface. And I want you to be aware that there are way more things that Playposit can do for you than what I'm able to discuss today. So I'm going to talk about just a few of the really important points and the important features of this program. And then maybe later on, I'll do a follow-up webinar. But as of right now, we're just scratching that surface, okay? So feel free, ask your questions in the chat. Like I said, my co-host will be able to respond to some of those, and then we'll get back to them towards the end. So Playposit allows you to upload videos from YouTube, Vimeo, TeacherTube, your own Screencastifys that you do, or your own Screencast-O-Matic, Nova, Khan Academy, TED Talks, really almost everything that you can find on the internet that's a video. It allows you to pretty much upload it all. And then what it does is it makes these videos active instead of passive. So when you're watching a video, usually like you're watching a movie or a television show, it's a very passive experience. You're kind of allowing the information to sort of just like wash over you, right? We're not really absorbing a whole ton for the sake of learning. Well, this kind of flips that paradigm. So what it's actually asking you to do is it's asking you to interact. This video is asking you to, oh wait, pause, let's answer this question together. All right, so in a way it does it is with different forms of questions that you as the educator get to select and customize however you see fit. So there is a free basic edition. I will tell you that before my school district purchased the Pro edition, the free edition is great. It actually offers you pretty much all, except maybe 2 or 3 different features of the Pro edition. It's absolutely worth checking out. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you a video which is called a bulb. So all of the lessons are called bulbs. So all the videos with the questions attached, they're called bulbs instead of like a lesson or instead of a clip or something like that. They just call them bulbs. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So right now I am in preview mode, and you can see that up in the corner where it said preview mode, you can't toggle back and forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this together, and I'm going to point out each of the different features of the questions that are being asked.
Come on. Let's go. We have a lot to go over. Everybody sit down. Come on.
Where's the TV?
Now, everybody, open your To Kill a Mockingbird to page 1. Good.
Okay, so here's a perfect example of exactly what it looks like to see what kind of open-ended questions could be asked. So what novel is the class reading? Now, the person who created this video simply took the video, uploaded it to the Playposit website, and decided that they wanted to use an open-ended question. Now, where it says use rich text, the students can actually upload video and photos as well. This is all monitored and independent. There's no group work that really takes place with this, unfortunately.
Now, who can tell me why Jem cries when the hole in the tree is filled with cement?
Because she's a crybaby?
Get out.
Okay, so why was a student told to get out? Choose the best answer. This is an excellent example of what it looks like to do a multiple choice. Now, if it were me as an ELL educator, I would not put 6 different choices for this personally. I tend to service mostly entering, emerging, and transitioning students. So maybe some of my transitioning students would be able to discriminate between some of the nuances of the choices being asked here, but I would probably allow this to be maybe 3 or 4 at the absolute most. Now, additionally, on top of that, you see down here at the bottom, they have these circles. Now, these circles are actually where the questions are being asked. So if I didn't get why the student was told to get out, I could simply pull my cursor back and listen
Now,
again.
who can tell me why Jem cries when the hole
Which
in
is
the
fantastic for our English language learners because sometimes they don't catch it right away. Sometimes we need additional reinforcement. So I think that is an excellent feature of this program. I'm just fast forward here through and we will listen to the next one and see what we got here. She says, get out. Why do you think that she was told to get out? Let's see what happens here.
We're here to learn. Anybody else have a problem with that? Good. Now, who has the answer to my question? Nobody's read this book? It's on the syllabus.
Well, you never assigned it to us.
Well, now I am. And we have a quiz tomorrow.
What?
On the first 100 pages.
Okay, so again, listening comprehension, we're focusing on that here. We're watching this video, but we are also interacting with it. So here's a fill in the blank. Now, guys, I have to tell you, this is like my favorite thing ever. The fill in the blanks, all the multiple choice, everything except for discussion and open answer are all self-graded by the work that you do ahead of time. So this is absolutely going to cut your grading, I mean, in half, if not more. It's fantastic when you start using this. So the question is, the students have a quiz over the first blank pages. The student here would write in 100 or however many they thought. And they wouldn't find out unless you preset it if that answer was correct or not.
You can't do that. I have band and jazz band tonight. You haven't had homework all year.
Okay, so here is an example of what it looks like to check all that apply. Now, this I found for my students is pretty tricky, believe it or not. This kind of check all is one of the things that throws our kids for a loop because that last question sometimes on some of those exams is all of the above. So this one is like check all that apply. So I use these very sparingly. However, they are kind of nice for situations like you just heard, where it says check all that apply. What reasons do the students give to argue against homework? And we know, she says, I have band, I have jazz band. We haven't had homework all year. So those would be the correct answers. And what's beautiful about this is that you can choose if you want that to have full credit. So maybe they have to give all 3 correct answers, Or if they get 2 out of the 3, they'll get partial, or 1 out of the 3, they'll get partial credit as well. All of that is set up by you as the instructor before you make this student facing.
Things are about to change around here. Recess is over.
Because birds symbolize freedom?
Okay, so Cameron Diaz is a very funny thing here. She puts stars on the students' foreheads for every answer they get correct. If you've never seen this movie, it's pretty funny. I highly recommend it. I think it's one of those things that teachers, kind of chuckle at. So this is a poll question. This one is, should I give out stickers like this every time you get an answer correct? You can click yes or click no, and then eventually you will get the response of all of your students when they participated. So that is an example of what this looks like from a student-facing side. All right. Now, what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to take a reflective pause here. I want you to take a minute of processing time, okay? And I know a minute seems like a long time, you might think, but I would really love for you to be able to answer or ask all of your questions in the chat. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to set my little timer here. Don't get startled that in a minute it starts to bark at you. It's actually really cute.
Laura has a good question in the chat box, Nicole.
Yeah, do the students see their answers as soon as they submit or later? Okay, so I will follow that up in just about 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm a dog lover, so when I saw this one, I was like, oh, that's really cute. The little glasses on there, it's cute. Okay, so I'm gonna answer a couple of questions here before we jump back in. So to answer Laura's questions, do the students see their answers as soon as they submit or later? You get that choice. You can decide if you want the students to see what they actually responded with, or you can decide that you want to give them, if they get it wrong, you can choose to have an explanation of the answer as to why it was wrong. All of that, again, is all done before this is all published to be for your students. So another question here, are there pre-made lessons or shareable lessons? Yes, there are pre-made lessons. There is a Playposit sort of archive, and I will show you that in the next couple of slides here. Karen says, are there any permissions required for the videos to be uploaded? And the answer to that is no. And the reason why that is because you're actually not changing and then republishing this video. What you're actually doing is you're actually going over top of the video and using it as a teaching tool. I've never had anyone say that this is, an infringement on copyright or anything like that. This is endorsed by Common Sense and several other educational organizations that specifically monitor these kinds of issues. I don't think that it would be this kind of program and this kind of tool if it had any of those kind of issues. So let's see, anything else? The videos, Sultana, the videos are available on various websites that I've listed in the previous slides, and I'm going to list them again later on. Okay. I'm going to show you now something that I've made. Now, you won't see any student data, you won't see any student names because I'm very cautious of those kinds of things, but I will show you a Playposit that I've made actually myself using a YouTube TED Talk video. The reason why I really am passionate about this kind of program is because it's 3 times more effective, right? Kids get to sit there and explore and learn and think at their own pace. They're not forced. There's no, okay, everyone put your pencils down and hand in your papers. There is this sort of autonomy for our kids where they're like able to grapple with things that they haven't been able to in the past, because this is a real personal experience for them. And it's also a very low stakes experience for them. So I'm going to show you now what one of my Playposits looks like that I've actually used and created. Again, I'm in preview mode. So it says that answers and progress will not be saved. It just kind of popped up there. But this is a TED Talk that I did about privacy and the internet. We were studying in 10th grade English, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and then our students do a culminating project of where they create a poster speaking out against the violation of various human rights across the country and across the globe. So this is one.
It was then that I realized that I can't control my online persona or how I want others to see me because the trolls get to contribute to it. I have a love-hate relationship with the internet. I love that the internet made it possible for my talk to be seen.
Okay, so right away, what do you notice about privacy, or what do you know about privacy and your right to privacy? Okay, so I'm trying to gather some of that background knowledge. What do my kids think at this point, right? The other thing I want to tell you is that you can crop all of the videos. So in the beginning of this video, the woman giving the TED Talk said some unchoice words, I should say. They were not things that I wanted my students to hear. She made a couple of nuances that I did not want my students to hear. So all I did was just crop it out. Now that's not there, and they still get the meat and bones of what I really want them to learn from this woman.
Seen by anyone, anywhere, at any time. But I hate that the internet made it possible for those comments to be added for my boys and my dad to see.
Okay, so I clicked on over here, if you see, I clicked on this little checkbox here. I clicked on here, and this is only in the preview section. Now, kids cannot do this from their side. This is a teacher-facing side. This is for you when you're editing and fine-tuning and making sure that what you're doing is on par with what your objectives are. So here, you're in the review mode. Okay, so I copied the bulb, which why it says 2, and then privacy and what can we do about it. So Danelle Dixon is the one who did this. So you can see here all of the different kinds of activities that I put in. Now, what do you know about privacy and your right to privacy? We already talked about that one. Right, one thing you learn from this video about privacy. Now, typically I would put this towards the end, but because this is a 5-minute video, I kind of went in and pushed things up a little bit. But there's a feature here that I really want you to see that's so important. So just take a listen. Write one thing you learned from this video. Okay, that's me. I'm able to record my own voice, and they can hear it. So even our low literacy kids that are having a really hard time navigating through all this tech and all these words and how am I supposed to answer this, they can listen to it. And then on top of that, they're able to actually respond in voice if that's something that I chose for them to be able to respond to. Okay, so we are moving on. I will show you what these look like. All right, so this is something that would be, again, more towards the end, but I want to know
your thoughts on it here. So respond to the video. What does it make you think about? How does it make you feel? Will you change what you post online because of this video? And this is, again, an audio recording of me.
Respond to the video. What does it make you think about? How does it make you feel? Will you change what you post online because of this video?
Again, they can respond in voice if that's something that I chose for them to be able to upload. There was another one. I'm going to come down here. And this is simply a pause and reflect. So think about the right to privacy and answer the questions below. So then they're going to click, okay? Everyone is protected online and offline from people hurting them. This is me reading the question. These are the answers.
True. False.
You could easily make those longer. However, for some of my entering kids, that really worked for them. Let's show you the next one here. Here's this is a poll kind of question, but I want to show you also the end question. Okay, so this is the very end of this lesson, this bulb, if you will, like kind of like a light bulb. And this is a feedback poll. So there are preset like formats, the same way that you would have like a theme on PowerPoint or Google Slides. It's similar to that as well. So what I would really love is I would love for my students to let me know, how do you feel about these kinds of activities in this video, right? And they can simply just click on the different emoji faces, and I just uploaded these as images. It's very, very simple, very, very easy. These are all from free websites, so that way I made sure that I was not breaking any copyright myself. So let's come back here. All right, so these are the different types of interactive spots and videos that you can upload. So we're digging just a little bit deeper. We're not digging super deep. I'm not showing you exactly how to use all of this. I'm just showing you kind of the nuts and bolts of how this works. It's much too big for me to do that all in one session. So interactive spots. So the spots that I was taking you through, they were discussions, there were multiple choice, there was a poll and survey, open response, check all, web embed, that's where students could put in their rich text and put in a video or put in a screencast of them responding. Auto-graded blanks, so those fill in the blanks, yeah, they're all auto-graded. So multiple choice, auto-graded, poll survey, not graded unless you decided you wanted to grade participation. Another one is check all. Again, you can decide if you wanted that to be partial credit or full credit. Open response. Now, I'm going to warn you, the discussion and open response, those need to be clicked on individually for each class, for each student, in order to be scored. I don't find that as being a bad thing. I don't want my students to have to write everything word for word in that response unless I'm looking for something extremely specific. And if I'm looking for something that's extremely specific, I will probably use the auto-graded blanks or poll, survey, or multiple choice for that. If I want it to be word for word and my kids maybe know a synonym for a word or something, I want to just be able to know that they understood what they wrote and that they are answering the question correctly. Whoops, sorry about that. The videos that you can upload. So I've used YouTube, I've used TeacherTube, I've used PBS, I've used my own screencasts. I have used minute physics. Now, if you are a math teacher or use math in your content area, it is extremely nice for that. I've been told I'm not a math teacher, and I can't even tell you honestly how to do this, but some of my colleagues have said, yes, you can actually use this to, when you're creating the questions, you can actually put in equations there. And then maybe, I suppose, maybe an open response or discussion may be better graded that way. I'm not sure. Again, not a math person. Okay, so let's talk about like the tech integration portion of this. So this is what's really important, especially for my kids. Like I said, I do have entering through commanding. I do have many SIFE students. I do have many kids that are at the entering through transitioning levels. So to have no additional passwords or usernames is like, it's angelic. It is phenomenal for me. So we use Google Classroom in our building. We also use Clever, and we use Schoology. So everything is entered through Clever, and you get to these different branches. So whether it's Google Classroom or Schoology, but they just log in the same way they normally would log into Schoology or log into Google Classroom. There's nothing additional to remember. And you as an instructor can just assign this as an add-on. Now, that is going to be depending on your district. So sometimes districts have this integrated, sometimes they do not. That is also, a really tough thing to get going. But if you do need an additional password or, if you do need an additional password or username, they can enter it right through the website. And the website is simply go.playposit. It's very, very, very simple. And you as an instructor, if you want to pre-create those, you can, but it's very user-friendly. For someone who's not very techy, I would say it is extremely easy to figure out. Okay, so why do we use this for our MLL and ELL population? Why do we do this? Why is this a good tool? Now, it gives you small bits of information. Our kids can't process all of it at one time. If they were sitting in this presentation with me, they would be like, oh my gosh, my head, it's too much, right? It gives them these small little bits of information to be able to digest, respond. Read it, understand it, watch it, digest, respond. That chunking is of real importance when it comes to our kids. The playback features, it allows the students to go back. They can listen, watch again, answer the questions. You can set it for them to have multiple attempts and allow them to change or alter their answer if they already answered. So it's actually a really great self-correction tool as well. Now, it's a low stakes environment. Our kids can practice writing, they can practice speaking and creating in English without pressure of knowing that they're being judged by classmates or any of that sort of peer pressure and even internal pressure that they put on themselves to be perfect when they're trying to speak in front of others. It's really a nice, intimate way of getting you to give feedback to your kids in real time and develop their language along the way, especially when we're distance learning. Okay. Accessibility. So we know that not everyone is one-to-one. However, we know most people, they have cell phones, computers, tablets, iPads, Chromebooks. This works on all of those things. Now, if there's a reason, for some reason, you don't have enough technology or you can't get the library or the computer lab in your building, there's an option, just trying to find it here, excuse me for my tab shuffling. Here it is. You can print out an actual question form, and students can do this on paper. Or if you want, instead of having them embed it into the actual video, you can print this out and have the kids stop at 22 seconds. For some reason, you can't get your kids to log on. There's always an option. Additionally, I wanted to show you this feature. There's a feature here. Again, I apologize. I have 1,000 Playposits open right now. Here we go. There's a feature here. These are all of the bulbs and all of the lessons that I've created for my students so far. You click on where it says actions, and it gives you the ability to have a broadcast. Now, broadcast means that it is showing maybe on your main computer that's hooked up to like your whiteboard or your smartboard or whatever you're using for presentation. And then students respond on their personal devices, or again, you can export that worksheet and they can respond on paper. So there's lots of different options, even if you're just a one computer or one iPad classroom. Okay. I don't have anything else for you today, but I do want to make sure that you are able to sign up at Nice TESOL, and please join our organization. We are doing really amazing things in the area of TESOL. It's camaraderie. We have a lot of fun at our social events. Our fearless leader is exactly that. She's fearless. She is wonderful, Laura. We're so thankful for you. And I'm going to go ahead now and answer some questions. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat. I'm going to leave this image up for you, so that way if you do need to navigate away from our session, you can, and go ahead and sign that up. So let's take a look here. I'm going to, what I'm going to do here, I'm going
About
to,
331, there was a couple of questions.
331, thanks. Okay, I need websites that have free images that don't break copyright laws. Okay, and Shauna, you totally responded to that. So one website for images is Unsplash. I use Unsplash as well. I love it. I think it's super easy. And it's it's user-friendly, which is what I like. Well,
Also,
yes.
Karen had a question before that. So we can set it up to
Oh.
have a voice recorded answer from students instead of a written answer. I think you answered that, yes.
Yes, you absolutely can do that. Absolutely. You have to set it up that way. So it's not something that's a default, but you can absolutely play with the settings and set it up that way.
Also, Sterling Ware asked, can multiple choice answers have a visual instead of words?
Yes, and I think I did show that as well in this here. So this is a poll, but the same thing for multiple choice. You can put in your images if you so choose. Let's take a look at what else we got here.
There was a question about accessibility from Laura. Will captioning be retained when you run your video in Playposit?
I believe so. All I simply am doing right now is just sharing my video with you. So if there was captioning, then I'm sure that it was going to be viewable from the student side as well. Yes. Okay. Can students use the audio format? Yes. Can you show us what it looks like to review student answers? Laura, I cannot show you that. And the reason why I cannot show you that is because it would be showing my own students' answers, and you can't make like a fake account on here, which is what I was going to show. But, Oh, yep, I can show you where to go on the site for that. Let me show you here. Thought I had that up here. Oh, I do. Okay. So here it is. So what you would look at is here where it says actions. This is going to kind of be your guide here. You would go to monitor, and then you could even export your analytics and see exactly what your class got on each question. And to find other people's Playposit question banks. Great question, Laura. Let me show you that. I'm actually going to show you to add a new bulb. It's very simple. You simply click add a new bulb. And I can kind of show you what this looks like because this isn't gonna. Okay, so I would simply upload whatever video I wanted to upload here. And then I would put in whatever captions I needed to, my interactions, which is not gonna let me. Last one, I think, unanswered question. Can you add the question items into a Google Classroom? You can connect to Google Classroom through Playposit, like they can talk, but you cannot put the questions into a Google Classroom like form, if that's what you're asking. Let me show you how to find questions. So I'm gonna just go to the Playposit site because it's easier that way. Oh my goodness, if I could type today, we'll be all right. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you actually like sign up or go to it, I should say, go to the site. You can log in or you can sign up. It's free, like I said. It's making me, oh, there we go. Okay, it's gonna link now for me, which is nice. Okay. I can come over to the side here where it says my bulbs and then go to pre-made bulbs. Now it gives me two different things. All of these people here, the Buffalo Public Schools media, are all teachers in my district. But if I go to all Playposit, there are millions and millions and millions of different Playposits that you can find. So if I click here, I want to look for meiosis. Yes, you can search what you want, Sujan. Whoops. I don't have it. Search. All right. Thanks, Shauna. Have a good one. Enjoy your daughter's birthday.
Bye, Shauna.
Bye. Okay, so I search meiosis here. And then I just click filter. And it's going to show me all of the Playposits that have to do with meiosis. So I can click on this one here. Does every bulb you create become public? No, you can set that filter if you want it to be private, if you want it to be only people who have sort of that link or the ability to log into your class, or if you want it to be public. I personally make all of mine public because I feel like I want to give to the greater good if I can. But not everyone feels that way, and that's completely okay too. So you can change your privacy settings, at any time. If you want some of them to be public or not all of them, that's also an option for you as well. All right. So you would click on any of these, and I'll just show you quickly what this looks like here. I'm gonna just preview it instead of copying it. If I copied it, it would just simply go into my class repertoire. And again, you know, you're in preview mode. And let's see here what this video looks like. So if you don't know the Amoeba Sisters, they're really kind of fun.
Have you ever wondered how two siblings who could have the same mom and dad can still look so different? Well, today we're going to talk about the process that makes that possible, a process called meiosis, not to be confused with
Okay, so again, those questions over here. What is the name of the process that explains how two siblings with the same mother and father look different? So really small chunks, really quick information gathering that you're getting as an educator, it's pretty fantastic. And we've only got about 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to kind of come out of here. I'm going to close out the Playposit. I'm going to quit my talk in here. And I'm going to have you guys, if you want, we do have a pretty small group, I do believe. If you do have any questions and you would like to ask them to me, we can go ahead and stop recording at this point. I'm going to share with you quickly